Welcome back to Sports on Tap, part of the NEO Sports Insiders Network. This is our Ohio High School football coverage, live from the RRT Production Studios in North Ridgeville.
It would help if I'm not on. If I would turn the mics on.
The beautiful RRT Productions.
Yeah, it's very cozy.
In a disgusting color.
Oh, it's beautiful down
It's
here.
just ugh.
I mean,
Ohio.
they all. I'm sure that color. No colors look good to you after what happened on Sunday night, I imagine. Did we already cover that?
No. Thank God I was in a tent with my son and I couldn't watch the game because
You
I
missed a good one.
I know.
We're talking about Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish.
Notre
folks.
Dame Texas game goes down as the actual hands down across boards. No matter if you hate Notre Dame or like Notre Dame, probably the best game of the weekend. Outside of maybe Florida State Ole Miss with a comeback, but yeah, not to go on to team.
And,
it's pretty good.
And it did get brought up before the show started, but he was the one to bring it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
You know what? I just wonder how many holes were in Sean's ceiling after. Oh yeah, he was outside.
I was in a tent.
So you were actually lucky that you were outside.
Well, I was having a great Labor Day camp out with my son and some friends. So we were
Yeah.
roasting marshmallows and discussing the intricacies of Ninja Turtles versus PJ Masks. Believe it or not, 2- and 3-year-olds can decipher the two. I didn't think they could.
Unbelievable.
Huh.
They know. Don't mess with them. So, yeah.
There you go.
But
Well, let's go from the Ninja Turtles and PJ Masks over to the Southwestern Conference.
Wow.
I know that's
About
a
as good
great.
of a segue you can make there.
dynamite segue, Monty.
Man,
Those broadcasting lessons are really paying off.
Week 2
not bad.
was interesting in the Southwestern Conference, where we start with the Amherst Steel Comets traveling to North Ridgeville. And North Ridgeville unveiled their new field, and not to mention plenty of alumni was in attendance for the Rangers. And they couldn't get anything going early, but they did take a 9-7 lead into the fourth quarter. That's when junior Shamari Williams broke free for a 55-yard run that set up a 32-yard Colin Solinger to Forrest Croxton touchdown pass that extended the lead to 16-7. On North Ridgeville's next possession, Williams found a hole in the defense, and he ran 53 yards before being brought down inside the 5-yard line. He capped a drive with a 1-yard touchdown run to put the game out of reach. Amherst scored its only points in the third quarter on a 33-yard touchdown run by sophomore running back Kennedy Scagliazzo. The Rangers win their first game at their new home, 23-7. The Rangers overcame 13 penalties, which costed them 147 yards in the game. Stats-wise for the North Ridgeville Rangers, junior running back Shamari Williams had 200 yards rushing on the day as he takes over for Demario McCall. And congratulations to Demario McCall. Demario McCall, now of the Ohio State Buckeyes, he had 2 touchdowns in that game. North Ridgeville, though, they traveled to Berea Mid Park. And I won't give that one away yet, but Amherst travels to Midview as Amherst has another tough game as they fall to 0-2 North Ridgeville, now 1-1 on the season. Next, we go Midview at North Olmsted. And Dustin Crum had an absolute huge day for the Middies, going 15 for 20 in the first half for 219 yards and 3 touchdowns. As the Middies built a 27-0 lead in this one, he ended the game with 243 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. Crum did spread the ball around to 7 receivers in this game, but his favorite target, senior Keith Johnson. He grabbed 6 passes for 112 yards and 2 scores, all in the first half of this game. The Middies defense, they did dominate North Olmsted, holding them to just 38 yards in the first quarter and 95 in the first half. 28 coming on a Josh Huffstetler reception. They finished with 166 yards overall. North Olmsted was able to get on the board in the second half, taking the third quarter kickoff 64 yards in 10 plays, but senior Chris Jones capped the drive with a 4-yard touchdown run. Midview dominates in this one, 41-6, as they're now undefeated, and North Olmsted drops to 1-1. Dustin Crum on the day, 243 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. He's an MVP candidate for me. Wide receiver Keith Johnson, 6 for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns. Midview travels to Amherst Steel as North Olmsted. They have a tough one as they travel to Avon. All right, Westlake. They traveled to Olmsted Falls, and I'll tell you what, this could have been the game of the week, or the spotlight game of the week for me. An unbelievable game that went back and forth. The first half was led by quarterback Trey Bialawis, who scored on 2 touchdown runs of 9 and 12 yards, but he wasn't done there either, connecting with Billy Blood on a touchdown pass on 4th and goal from the 5-yard line, and some tough running by Kadar Robinson. The Demons went into the locker room at half with a 20-10 lead over the Bulldogs. In the second half, though, Olmsted Falls started by pounding the ball on the ground with Spencer Linville. The Bulldogs came all the way back to take the lead in the fourth. It was 24-20 at that point, and on 4th and goal from the 5, Trey Bialawis found Connor Sterneckert in the back corner of the end zone for a touchdown. It was 27-24. Demons led with under 5 minutes to go. Just when you think this game couldn't get any crazier, the Bulldogs were not done as they moved the ball down the field. Then on 3rd and 9 with 45 seconds to go, they found a wide-open receiver and scored what looked like could be the game winner. After a kick out of bounds, Coach Jason Hall of Westlake made the Bulldogs re-kick instead of taking the ball at the 35-yard line, which is usually unheard of. At the 35-yard line, you have pretty good field position and a good start, but he decided, you know what, let's re-kick. Terrence Rose, who's always a dangerous kick returner, had a second chance. He almost broke it, but got the ball out to the Demons' 48-yard line. That was with 27 seconds left. After a few nice plays, the Demons got down to the Olmsted Falls 18-yard line, and it was Trevor Belozer ran down the seam, and Bialawis threw a bullet to Belozer, and he did the rest. It ran over Bulldog defenders, getting into the end zone. There were only 2 seconds left, and after Eric Brizes added his 4th extra point on the night, it was 34-31, and the Demons shocked the Olmsted Falls Bulldogs in front of their home crowd. Unbelievable game, 34-31 your final. Westlake improves to 2-0 on the year. Olmsted Falls 1-1 now. Kadar Robinson had 10 carries for 91 yards, and Bialawis had added 19 carries for 87 on the night. And Bialawis had 11 of 19 for 125 yards and 3 touchdowns. Connor Sterneckert led all Demons receivers with 5 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown. And the Demon defense was led by Matt Ramek and Matt Beaver, who each had 8 tackles, and Dean Schneider, who had 11 tackles, including 3 for a loss. Westlake hosts Avon Lake, who's 1-1 on the season, at home, and they're going to unveil a new synthetic turf field. That coming up on Friday. Olmsted Falls takes on Lakewood as they look to regroup after a game that just went back and forth. High-scoring affair, and Westlake showing their offense could be for real 2 weeks in a row, putting up pretty high points.
Yeah, that's definitely impressive out of Westlake. 2-0, really able to work, the clock a little bit there, and also when push came to shove, they were able to answer the call. That's the true mark of a good team, starting to kind of come together and realize their potentials. When their back's against the wall, do they have the fortitude to kind of respond? And it sounds like Westlake has that. And again, if you're out there watching the game and you don't have a dog in that particular fight, that's a great game to watch, the back and forth, because those are exciting games to watch. And as you kind of mentioned in a couple of your reviews here, it's been kind of you had some blowouts and you had some teams that established themselves early and made not really a game out of it, and those are tough for any fan to watch, whether you're the one winning or especially the one losing. But yeah, that sounds like a very exciting game, and the way Rob described it, I don't know about the rest of you guys, I was on the edge of my proverbial seat.
You're sitting on a seat. It's not proverbial. You're literally on the seat.
Right, but I'm sitting back in it, so I guess the proverbial part is the edge of it, because if I'm on the edge of it, I'm going to break it because it's plastic. So
Fair.
Fair enough. All right, we'll keep going on in the Southwestern Conference. Lakewood traveled to Berea Mid-Park, and this is another high-scoring game. Berea Mid-Park started the game with a 14-0 lead in the first quarter thanks to 2 Tyrese Holland touchdowns. Lakewood did get on the board with a 41-yard strike to junior Joe Bizek from junior quarterback Austin Mahar, 14-7. Berea Mid-Park led. Then the Titans came back with a score of their own. Sophomore quarterback Trevor Bazinski to wide receiver Luis Vega. Lakewood then would come back and score before half. Quentin Palmer catches a pass from Austin Mahar. At half, it was 21-13 Titans. In the third quarter, Berea Mid-Park outscored Lakewood 21-10. 2 passing touchdowns from Trevor Bazinski and 1 rushing led the charge. Scores by each team in the fourth quarter, though. 1 for Titans' Tyrese Holland added a 16-yard run. And for Lakewood, it was Austin Mahar adding a 2-yard run. John Hunick gets his first Southwestern Conference win, beating the Rangers.
Go, Coach.
Friend of show.
49-30. And I'll tell you what, Berea Mid-Park had quite a bit of points. They were up big, and then Lakewood came right back. Sophomore quarterback Trevor Bazinski was 26 of 36 for 380 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's also a candidate for the MVP. But a great game by Berea Mid-Park is now they are 1-1 on the season, and Lakewood drops to 0-2. The North Ridgeville Rangers and Berea Mid-Park coming up on Friday, and Lakewood takes on Olmsted Falls. Now, my spotlight game of the week, it was Avon against Avon Lake. Both teams coming in.
Big rivalry game.
Yeah, a rivalry game. They're both 1-1. Avon Lake with a big win against Elyria. Avon, a big win against Strongsville. It was the Shoremen who took a 7-0 lead on the opening drive on a Carson Toy 1-yard touchdown run, but Avon right away. Senior corner Ian Zalas blocked the punt of Avon Lake's Jacob Krakowski less than a minute into the second quarter. Avon sophomore quarterback Ryan Malloy rushed for 4 yards for a touchdown to tie the game at 7. But with the score tied late in the second quarter, Avon Lake had a 4th and goal at the Avon 1. Avon's defense stopped the Shoremen. The Eagles added a 30-yard field goal from Mitch Cooper to take a 10-7 halftime lead. Then Avon senior quarterback Matt Kelly and junior running back Tony Eberhard each rushed for touchdowns in the third quarter as running back Mason McElmore caught a 11-yard touchdown pass from Malloy. For the game's final points, Avon scored 31 unanswered points in this game, and they win big, 31-7. And what was my spotlight game of the week? Avon hosts North Olmsted, and Avon Lake travels to Westlake. Looking at some other games in conference, you look at the Week 2 standings now. Avon at 2-0, Westlake 2-0, and Midview 2-0. And then you have a host of teams at 1-1, that being Berea Mid-Park, North Ridgeville, Avon Lake, Olmsted Falls, and North Olmsted. Lakewood and Amherst are 0-2. And, again, some games coming up. You have North Olmsted at Avon, Avon Lake at Westlake, Midview at Amherst Steel, Olmsted Falls at Lakewood, and North Ridgeville at Berea Mid-Park.
Spotlight game of the week?
This was a tough one to choose here. I think I'm going to go with Avon Lake at Westlake in my spotlight game. They're unveiling a new turf field at Westlake. Avon Lake 1-1. They had a tough break against Avon. But Westlake is really playing some good football right now. Let's see if they can continue that trend.
And your MVP for this past week?
It came down to 2 guys, and it's really tough. It's between Dustin Crum, who passed for 5 touchdowns, or Trevor Bazinski. I think I'm going to go with quarterback Dustin Crum of Midview. 243 yards passing, 5 touchdowns against North Olmsted in a 41-6 win. But Trevor Bazinski, he's a sophomore, threw 380 yards and 3 touchdowns against Lakewood in the 49-30 win. I could see him being a candidate for Southwestern MVP plenty times down the road because he's a really good quarterback.
Absolutely.
We'll see him against Ridgeville.
I like your spotlight game because I am interested to see if Westlake can continue playing as well as they have, especially against a really good Avon Lake team. And I think that's an excellent spotlight game.
Well, thanks, Sean. Appreciate that. and I hope it's a good one. I think it will.
I don't know if the audience can understand how big Rob's head just got when I gave him a compliment.
I know. I can't go up. I can't leave the room now.
Yeah, he can't.
I'm stuck.
Yeah.
All right. That was the Southwestern Conference. We're going to step away, take a short break. When we come back, we'll go over the Suburban League, the National and American divisions with Sean Duffy and Ed Dick. All coming up. We're Sports on Tap, part of the NEO Sports Insiders Network. This is our Ohio High School football coverage.